The lie broken but famous, moving forward, never back. Not artist, not a fucking artist. The ghost that you started. They feel me, they bleed with me.
So hey guys, it's John with Next Level Digital, the guy that you normally see behind the camera. We're going to try something a little bit different. We're going to do some Q&As with Cole, Corey, Jeff, unfortunately.
Rage bait.
Kind of show you guys some different things, find out who the guys that you see are behind the camera. Get a little bit of history about Freiday Racing, how it started, goals, just the general stories. Shit, Cole, how long have I known you?
Trying to remember how old I am right now. 34, so 20 plus years.
20 plus years.
Long time.
And a lot of people have seen some of the crazy stuff, the long jumps, Cole's crash in the gravel pit. I think that got millions of views. You're crazy, but yeah.
Yeah, that one didn't end so well. It was fun. Just car could have been better.
Yeah, everybody in town, you know, they know your fabrication skills and where you're going. And a lot of people know you as the crazy kid, but you're not a kid anymore.
No, now I'm just crazy and old with a lot of gray hair. Unfortunately.
Right. We're going to get into some things in some different episodes. I'd like to get, Troy Barker from Troy Barker Designs, Quick Saw Racing. Get him down here, do some interviews so you guys can see him. Really smart guy that works with Cole, helps out with a lot of the process of his building and stuff when it comes to CAD. The guy's super sharp, cool guy, fun to hang out with. Like to get maybe Mitch down here.
Yeah, Mitch
Made
would be
Fab.
good.
You want to see some cool stuff, go follow Mitch Made Fab and see some of the stuff that he's doing. He's another key part of Freiday Racing with some of the stuff that they're doing with hubs and third member and
everything.
Super
also
sharp
has a
guy.
Super sick Toyota with a small block Ford.
That truck, I've seen some footage of that thing at King of the Hammers and
700 horsepower.
some different flies with him and Terra Crew.
Mm-hmm.
Him just launching that truck. I mean, it is a beautiful truck.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Smart dude there too.
He is sharp.
Super helpful too.
I met him the first time at the Off-Road Expo, and he doesn't like a camera, which most of us don't. But get a couple drinks in him, and he starts to flow pretty well. But super cool guy, super knowledgeable. He knows a lot. And some of the stuff that he's doing right now, especially with his Corporate 9, go follow him on Instagram, and he goes through some different things with that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's pretty innovative on that one. It's something that nobody else has done, and we were the first ones to get one on order. Yes.
It looks bitchin'. I've seen some of the pictures of it on Instagram.
I'm pretty excited about that thing.
Probably get some customers in here. Definitely Lee and Dawson, so they can talk about their experiences with Cole, their truck. We don't know how far we're going to take this whole podcast style setup. It's going to get better as it goes on, but
don't stop watching.
We're just going to start shooting off the hip, and what you see everybody say, like and share.
Yeah.
Go to YouTube. I'll post the link on it. You guys like and share, and let's see how many we can get out there and see what we can actually turn this into.
Yeah.
Who knows? You watch a lot of Rob and
I love Rob. Rob's an awesome guy.
Rob's videos are cool at RJ Fab, and then Morgan Clark Design.
Another good video guy with all of his work.
Got to meet him when you did the interview with him down at the Off-Road Expo. Super cool guy. Cole had kind of told me about him, and I didn't really know much about him, and then started watching his YouTube videos, and the guy is talented, both of them, RJ and him.
Yeah, I'd probably say two top tier people in the industry. Granted, there's a ton of people in the industry that are talented, but those are probably two more of the guys that I watch and follow. So
I think what they put out there too with their videos
it's
is
quality.
Pretty cool. They get into really good explanation of stuff and why they do things.
Yeah, the stuff that Morgan does with his builds is pretty incredible, just the design aspect, and then the stuff that Rob does is top tier level stuff, not even just in the off-road industry. He does stuff, hot rods and everything. That guy does a lot. And he builds really nice stuff. That King George, that thing is amazing. Which I feel like he's pretty well known for, is this Black Ranger.
That
Ranger, that is $500,000 Ranger, easy, and it's insane.
Heck yeah. Well, let's start off with some of this. Who is Cole Freiday?
Well, name's Cole Freiday. Born and raised in Kingman, Arizona. Pretty much lived here my whole life. I moved out of town for a little bit to California to race dirt bikes and work at the San Onofre nuclear plant. Over there, I lived with Mark Samuels from the SLR team. Him and his family took me in for a while when my job was done over there at the nuke plant. And all I did was clean deep fryers and stuff with him and go racing until I ran out of money, had to move back home. But otherwise, I am an off-road enthusiast, on-road enthusiast, pretty much anything with wheels and an engine. I love it. I love driving probably more than I love building, just because that's always kind of been my background as being a driver. Don't get to do a lot of it nowadays since the business has kind of taken over most of my time, but I'm just somebody that likes to do wild, crazy things, have fun, much as I possibly can, and live every day like it's your last, I guess.
Heck yeah. It's all you can ask for, right?
Yeah.
Live life. Mm-hmm. That's all you can do. You're not here for a long time, but might as well make it a good time.
Yeah, good times.
So, when I first met you, you were a young kid that used to just race dirt bikes, and everybody, Cole Freiday, that kid's crazy on a bike. He's crazy on a bike, and talked to you a few times prior, and then I remember sitting at the fairgrounds, and I can't remember, was it a whiplash race or something small that they were doing?
Yeah, just one of the little small local races.
But you stuck the throttle off the start.
Yeah.
And went right into a concrete block.
Yeah, they did one of the start straights where they decided to put like a speed bump halfway through the start straight to try and slow people up for the corner. I didn't slow for the bump and yeeted myself. Basically, the dirt bike wanted to be the rider and I was the dirt bike, and pile drive myself into the ground and into the concrete, and broke a few vertebrae. Actually, no, I didn't break any vertebrae. I did, but little horns off the side of your spines. Sheared about 5 or 6 of those things off and did some damage on that one. That was a long recovery process. I think that wasn't my first broken bone, but that was my first serious injury, was that one, the first broken back.
The first one. How many have you had?
Technically 2 broken backs, but I'm sure there's a lot more of bulging discs and stuff that have happened throughout the time. But yeah.
So you went from, as a kid, you raced dirt bikes. You did a lot of crazy stuff on dirt bikes.
Started pretty late on the dirt bikes. I always wanted a dirt bike, but my dad probably, being a dad, could see what I was gonna do if I had a dirt bike. So never was able to get one. Had 4-wheelers, which I did wreck the living crap out of those things constantly, so I can kind of see why my dad didn't want to get me a dirt bike. But by the time I was 14, I finally got enough money, and parents loaned me a little bit of money, picked up a used dirt bike in Lake Havasu, and that was the end of it. Always the kid that sat on the school bus looking out the window, just picturing me out on a dirt bike jumping things, and loved dirt bike racing. Started off desert mostly. Pretty much did all the Best in the Desert series with Silver State, Vegas to Reno, all those races. We did actually, my second dirt bike race ever was Vegas to Reno the long way, 1,000-mile one, which I was in first for a while until the front rim decided it didn't want to be a front rim anymore and took me out of the race. But yeah, a lot of dirt bike racing for a long time.
What made you transition over from dirt bikes to UTVs?
Well, you know what the saying is, with age comes a cage. No, I just I started getting older on the dirt bike. I think I stopped racing around 23, I would say. Stopped racing. Probably wasn't so much competitive as some of the young kids anymore. They've just gotten so fast, and I've gotten old and slow and started hurting. Probably burnt myself out a little bit on it, just doing it much as I possibly could. And then side-by-sides came out, and never really cared for the side-by-sides. They just looked like 4-wheelers with a steering wheel for a while, until the Can-Am X3 came out, and I went over to a friend's house that had one, Mike Diaz, and he took me for a ride in that thing, and he just wooded that thing over some stuff that I didn't think was possible, and it blew me away. And from then I was like, yeah, I got to get one of those. So I don't think I ended up getting my first side-by-side until 2000, probably the middle or the end of 2018. It was the Can-Am XRC, the blue one. I got that thing, told myself I wasn't going to race, wasn't going to do any of that stuff. Well, that didn't really last very long. Mainly, I'm going to blame the reason why is because of Steve Sharp. It's his fault. So
Another well-known
Sender.
crazy sender of Kingman. If I've said it a lot that if anybody wanted to product development anything, give it to Steve Sharp or Cole Friday. They will find a weakness in it somehow, some way.
Yeah.
Usually pretty quick.
Yeah, my dad calls me hammer hands because everything I touch I break. So, fitting. But yeah, it really started because of him. We just always did, group rides, camping trips and stuff as with a big group of friends, him and a bunch of other people. And Steve and I obviously were the competitive ones, so every group ride turned into a race, which we've definitely destroyed some things doing stuff like that, but we just got super competitive. And one time we were out at a park or camping, and there was this pretty sweet little jump that you could hit. Absolutely had zero landing, really landing uphill, but it was sandy. So, and it was one of those things, him and I just kept going back and forth, seeing who could go farther till one of us couldn't physically go any farther. And after that, it kind of just sitting here, and then this was back in the day when they used to be at the Laughlin Leap at the end of the year. Pretty iconic. People like the trophy trucks watching those jump, and it was a jump contest before the off-road race. It was a really fun time, and don't know why. I think maybe Steve brought it up about him wanting to do it, and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to do it too. That looks like fun. So entered that and somehow ended up winning. Pretty kind of surprised, honestly, because there were some fast UTVs jumping back in the day. And this was back when UTVs were way bigger than they are now, personally. They were a lot more affordable, so a lot more people had them. And ended up walking away with the win on that one. I think at the time it was like a record for the longest to flat landing, which was pretty cool. I mean, I think we went like 117 feet or something. And from that point on, I got a couple $100 from some of the sponsors that did the event, and got a few products like some tires and little things, and that kind of popped in my head. I'm like, oh, that was really easy. I could do this more. And that's escalated into everything it is today now. It was not cheaper and it was not easier, but it was a lot of fun. Hospital bills, not so much.
So you won the Laughlin Leap. Well, we'll call it the Laughlin Leap. And then you went to Oregon.
Yeah, that was for Huckfest at Coos Bay, Oregon. That was me and my buddy Juan decided to go up there. We loaded up the car. We drove 18 hours nonstop all the way there. Got there, unloaded the car. Never been a dune guy, really, honestly, ever. Always a desert rat. And that place was beautiful. It was like a pinkish kind of sand, pine trees everywhere. You could literally just ride through the dunes, and the next thing you know, you're on the beach. That place was gorgeous. And this event, I loved Huckfest. That was one of my favorite events ever. It was so well put on, had so much fun. They had short course racing, big family rides, all these cool little activities you could do. And it was all free to enter, just had to pay to get into the place. Everything was free. And of course, they have long jump. And that year was when Al Macbeth was there. And I never knew who the guy was until I showed up. And then everybody kind of kept talking about him, did some research on him. And he was one of the world record holders. He might still be one of the record holders. I don't know. But the dude had some crazy built cars, full chassis, specific for jumping. And that year was an insanely headwind. It was like 30, 40 mile an hour headwinds. Well, he had a single seat car at the time, and it was a lot lighter than my old heavy desert car. And I ended up actually beating him and taking a first place win with that one, and that kind of got me a little bit noticed. I think Can-Am noticed me a little bit and some other people, which was really cool, and that was kind of really the start of the career for that. And then, of course, I guess we can talk about the gravel pit.
Yeah, we might as well. I mean, I'm gonna insert a clip on it because if you haven't seen it, you're gonna see it.
Yeah, so the gravel pit jump was one of those, me thinking I'm indestructible, and our family had, they're into construction, so dirt working. Well, we had a rock quarry pit out there, mostly sand and gravel, and there's this giant ravine that's probably 30 feet deep maybe, and it was a step up to about, if you wanted to make it over, you had to do about 180 feet. And obviously it's a quarry, so it's all dug out, and one of those things I backed up physically far as I can. Now, I didn't really do much on preparation or planning really. I just basically took a loader, found a spot that looked like it had a decent lip, and backdragged it and called that a day. Went out there, and I think every single person that was out there said, don't do this, it's a bad idea. And there was that one person, Brian, said, don't be a weenie, do it. Well, it only takes one person to convince me to do something stupid. So
That's true.
yeah, so I backed up far as I physically could get up against the little hillside and never let off the throttle until I landed. And unfortunately, as I was going up, suspension probably wasn't set super right, but the biggest implication of that was as I was coming up the face, the dirt, like I said, I didn't really wheel roll it, water it, nothing like that. So as I was coming up, the dirt settled in and unloaded my suspension. It just dinked one of those and ass over to the kettle. Landed on the front. One of those had to take a Can-Am apart in 3 seconds, which I did. Surprisingly enough, though, all the suspension was still good on that car. Not the shocks, but the CT Raceworks A-arms and trailing arms, I ended up racing on those for another year after that. So those actually held up. But I did break every single tube inside the chassis, so. Didn't break myself. Kind of hurt my knee and ankle, but didn't break a bone.
I'm gonna say you got extremely lucky on that one.
Yeah, I probably should have.
You had a good cage around you. You had some really good parts around you.
Yeah, first
After
cage ever
seeing
built
that
too.
one, even if I look at it today, I'm just like, how the hell did you walk away from that and not really seriously be hurt?
I think that was probably the start point too, when because that was before Gabrielle got to see a lot of the injuries. Because she came in, I mean, we've been together for 10 years, so she didn't get to see a lot of the dirt bike stuff, but she came in for the side-by-side stuff. And that was the first jump she realized that she's probably in it for a lot of heartache and watching me do a lot of dumb stuff. And yeah.
The long ride.
The long ride. She stuck it out so far. Now she doesn't really get phased too much. She just kind of looks the other way and calls me an idiot, but.
That turned into, a lot of people would have quit right then and there.
Yeah, so with that jump, me doing that one, Can-Am was not happy about that. They said, we don't mind you doing, the sanctioned events and stuff like that, but we don't want you doing something like that because they don't want other people to do the same dumb stuff that I did. And so that I'm like, all right, well, this will be the time to get into racing. And Can-Am sent me a OEM chassis, just a bare chassis. And at that point, I'm like, all right, well, let's build a race car. So we ended up, I get in the chassis, tore the car apart, got all the parts that I could acquire. And at that time, my main guy, Corey, he was actually working for TNC Machine, Tracy Rubio, who's an amazing builder in this town too. He's built several trophy trucks, kind of a legend in the off-road racing for this town. Been around a long time and has built a lot of high-quality stuff. Well, I was still pretty new at building things. I didn't really know a whole lot and wasn't really that great of a welder. And I went over to him. He had a tube dragon just the same as mine now, and I went over there, said, hey, I need some help building the car. He's like, all right. Him and Corey came over to the shop, took a couple measurements. They helped me bend and cut some, or actually they cut all my tubes, I bent them, and helped me build my first cage. Corey would come over here on the weekends or after work, and he would weld up the cage, help me fit everything, and then had a bunch of friends come over for to get the car together. And first race was Parker, and that's really kind of how that started, was the long road of off-road racing, which turned to be very expensive.
Yeah, all of it's expensive.
If it's fun, it's expensive.
There's truth behind that. So you went from long jump to desert, and then you had one more long jump.
Yeah, so the following year I acquired another Can-Am. I bought another one. Did not have one for free. But got another side-by-side that was like going to be my pre-runner and play car. Well, decided I want to go back to Coos Bay again. So I went back the following year. Yep, I went back the following year. And this year they made the jump a lot bigger. And Al Macbeth was there again, and we get like one little practice jump, which, just a little burnt just to see. I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine. And then you have 3 tries at the jump to get the longest record, or longest distance. And first go around, I decided to hit it a little too fast. And it was one of those jumps where there's not much of a downhill slope for the landing, and it was a lip that sent you higher than farther. And I hit that thing just flat out. And unfortunately, hate to say it, but I left my car in the dunes at a vendor there, one of the people I knew, and I came out and I was checking my shock settings. Well, I noticed all the settings because I always knew what my settings were on my, the high speed compression, low speed, and rebound. So I figured I'd double check stuff. I was going to tweak it a little bit stiffer, and I noticed all my settings were wrong. So somebody went in there sometime in the middle of the night and twisted all my stuff. Well, the only thing that I did not check was nitrogen pressure.
Oh boy.
Yes, did not know that. So basically come to find out after the jump was all my nitrogen was gone out of the shocks. Which, if I did a weird landing or something, I could see blowing nitrogen out of one shock, but all 4, not likely. So we did the jump, ended up going up, landed perfectly flat, unfortunately, without nitrogen helping the rebound on there. It compressed real hard, and I hunched over and broke a few vertebrae and bulging discs on that one. Immediately, I knew what happened. The second I landed, I was like, did it again. Opened the door, and I just rolled out. Of course, Gabrielle was there, my family, and all my relatives were there watching. Rolled out of my car, and I didn't even use my legs. I just nosed first, my head right into the sand, and laid there. And then Gabrielle's freaking out, thought I was paralyzed, and fortunately, I was not paralyzed, just in a lot of pain. They loaded me up on the ambulance, took me into Coos Bay, which is a beautiful hospital. And funny enough, Al won that jump too, and he ended up going to the hospital later too. He landed, but he was fine. He just wanted to get checked out because he hurt his back too, but he didn't hurt anything. And sure enough, my nice friends, Al made it back for the award ceremony. I still took second place with only doing one jump. But of course, my lovely friends Josh Woods decided to take my trophy and have Al Macbeth sign it, say #1 Al Macbeth, and still have the trophy. So I'm like, oh, how nice of you guys. And then we made the long journey home after that one, healed up, and that was back to off-road racing. Kind of decided that was the end of my jump career there. Was kind of hurt. Broken backs aren't fun. I feel it today a lot now.
Oh, I bet you, especially the older you get.
Yeah.
Taking Cialis and all the other good stuff, all the old people.
I'm going to have a walker. Yeah, I'm going to have a walker when I get older for sure.
You are. I know you are.
Yeah.
What drives Cole Friday to be Cole Friday?
In a sense of like what I'm doing now, or just me as a person?
You as a person.
Honestly, I guess it goes for both. Me as a business and me as a person is probably the shit talkers, the haters. Those are my motivation. I mean, I hate when somebody tells me that I can't do something or I'm not going to do it. Oh, that makes me want to do it more.
Right.
And that's actually realistically how the business started is we were in Baja and I was pre-running with the Murrays, and now Jason wasn't a hater or anything like that. He was actually wanting me to come work for him, and he was like, come on, you can come work for the Murray team, which I know I raced Baja with those guys. I had a blast with them. And that's actually where I met Troy. A lot of fun with those guys. But we were down there pre-running for the 1,000 one year, and I was co-driving. And I was telling him, like, yeah, I'm going to start up my own business. He's like, oh, no, dude, Kingman's too small. He's like, come work for me. I'm like, no, I really just kind of want to do it. He's like, you're never going to make, he's like, I'll bet you'll never make over 100 grand in your business. And I'm like, that was all the motivation that I needed. I'm like, all right, I like proving people wrong, and that I did. Granted, I'm still broke as could be because I dump every penny into the business, but that's kind of what started it. So thank you, Jason, for giving me the motivation to put everything into this business.
What made you jump from doing the UTV stuff to the trucks? Like I know you built a couple chassis for Mac.
Yep. Few people.
Short course. You built some desert cars.
Yeah.
I think Murray.
We built Murray's a car, Herman Johnson a car, Brett a car. We built quite a few UTVs. I'd probably say I kind of burnt myself out on side-by-sides, really, mainly because of racing, probably more so, was I wanted to race so bad. And that's all I wanted to do for a living was just be in a car. I wanted to be like the Rob Mack of off-road, just be a hired driver. And I spent so many years and every single penny, blood, sweat, tears, everything in the business, and I could never get good help, not sponsorship. Now, granted, I did have some smaller sponsors that would do what they could, and I appreciate them, but I could never get the big sponsor. Can-Am didn't really care too much about me. I wasn't like, the Phil Blurton or the Dustin Jones. I didn't have the following, and I didn't have the media, because, they actually literally told me when I was like, hey, I really need some help. Let's do something. I'm like, I got the skills, but I was the guy that was running on old takeoff parts from Lone Star Racing. Dan would hook me up with some of his old race car parts, and that's what I raced on, which ultimately, that was my downfall in racing, was just parts. And I did that so much and never could get sponsorship, while I see these other kids and other people that had big money or a big following. Granted, they weren't really good drivers. They just had the money and following, so they got it. And it really rubbed me the wrong way with manufacturers, mostly in the side-by-side game. It really kind of put a bummerness in my heart with it. So I was like, all right, well then if I can't get any help, I can't afford to do this anymore. So I'm going to do the business and start building them, because maybe then I can acquire enough money. Obviously, if I'm building it, I could build myself a car. Unfortunately, that never really happened. Never got the time or the money still to race. Just so expensive. And it's like when you start a business like this, it's not just, yay, here's a bunch of money, you started a business. It's like, okay, well, I have to buy this piece of equipment. I got employees that I have to make sure they get a paycheck every single week because they have families. Always continuing trying to grow into new things. And as you grow, the cost of business gets higher. So, there's a fine line of making money and doing the things that you want. So basically, I've just been concentrating on the business, and I got so burnt out on side-by-sides and dealing with people on those, because people would drive those things thinking that they're trophy trucks, and they would hit a rock, bust a wheel off, something went wrong and whatever. And, being the business, it was always one of our faults. So I was like, kind of tired of playing with side-by-sides. Really, heart wasn't in it as much anymore, and always liked big trucks. Everybody grew up watching Dust to Glory. I lived on that movie.
I don't know how many times I've seen that one, but it's awesome.
I used to fall asleep to that thing as growing up. That was one of my favorites. Just that red F100 with Mario Andretti, F-150 that Mario Andretti was running on pre-running. I was like, I really like that. And, that's just kind of one of the things where I've always wanted to get into it and get into the truck stuff. And then, Corey's built a lot of trucks in the past, so I knew we had the capabilities between me, him, Troy. I was like, we can do this. And I think we did a couple pre-runner stuff that, we'd work on people's thing, doing like shock mounts and a little bit of tube work, nothing too crazy. And then Lee said, which Lee's been one of my friends for a very long time, and he's like, I want to get a pre-runner. He had a bunch of sand cars, dirt bikes. He's basically just like me. And he ended up buying this decent F-150, 95 F-150, and it was a unequal length beam kit. It wasn't bad. There was a lot of things that was wrong with it, but he said, hey, I want to make this thing better. I want dual shocks in the front, everything like that. And that was kind of really my first big build. Like, it wasn't a full build, but we did a lot. I mean, we cut tubes out of the back, we cut the front off, we did all the interior, we fixed all the cage structure that was bad in the thing, that was crooked, did the interior. I mean, an insane amount of work on that thing. Completely wired it. And that was one of the things I was like, yeah, just trucks is where it's at. I love it. The people, the atmosphere, pre-running. Always loved pre-running, so that was kind of fitting. And ever since then, I've kind of really just shied away from side-by-sides. It's really hard to make money with them because it's such a flooded market. There's only a handful of people that build these trucks to, you know, the quality that we're trying to exceed. And so it's a little bit more of a niche market, but I don't know, it's just fitting for us.
I think it's kind of a cooler market too.
Yeah, I mean,
You look at RJ Fab, you look at Rob, super cool guy. Got to meet him down at the Off-Road Expo.
yes,
Morgan Clark.
all those dudes.
Morgan Clark's really cool. I seen his first videos when you were talking about it, saying that you wanted to do an interview with him down there. When you said, hey, let's go to the Off-Road Expo, I got this opportunity, we're going to take Lee's truck down there. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really know who Morgan Clark was. Like, I'd seen a couple of the videos, and I didn't really have an opinion. I was just like, okay, this guy's building some pretty cool stuff. You know, he gets into a lot of detail with some of his builds, which
Yeah.
I think those videos are awesome.
Yeah, it's really
But
great for the people that want to learn.
I'd only watched like a couple of them. And then when we actually went down there and met him and did the interview with him, super cool dude.
Yeah, very, very humble guy. I know the dude gets a lot of backlash. You know, you got those haters that are out there, but I don't really have anything bad to say about the guy. He took the time out of his day to interview with me, and we sat there and talked with him. He gave me business advice, certain things like that, and talked about, you know, business growth, how to handle things, I'd say. And same with Rob. Rob's probably one of my favorite people. I still talk to Rob here and there. Probably maybe once every couple weeks, I'll give him a call or a text, and he always answers. We'll sit there and BS for a little bit. So became pretty good friends with Rob. Amazing guy, helps me with whatever, you know, if I have any questions or opinions I need. And I can't really thank those two dudes enough. They're absolutely awesome
Wish
guys.
I could have. I messed up at the Off-Road Expo because I'm still new at the whole camera thing. I messed it up. Cole did a really cool interview with Rob where he was breaking down one of his truck builds, and yeah, I learned a lot on that one with lighting and UV filters and different stuff because we didn't post that one because the camera guy, messed it up. But that was a really cool interview. Rob and his team, if you ever watch his videos, the guys that he has working with him, a lot of them were down there, and got to talk to a bunch of them, and super knowledgeable guys, super cool.
Yeah, Rob's been around for a very long time. Not that you're old, Rob, just that you've been in the game for probably longer than most people, honestly. And smart, very humble guy, very nice, just all around a good human being. You know,
He builds some really cool stuff. He doesn't just do the truck. I mean, he builds some badass
dude, the hot
trucks,
rods
but
that he builds and
Yeah,
stuff,
his
that
hot rods
Willie's
are pretty
Jeep,
cool.
I mean, everything. The guy just builds insane stuff. Big horsepower, big suspension, drag car stuff. I mean, he kind of does everything. So he's like the one-stop shop. You want a $1 million luxury pre-runner, he's going to build it for you. You want a $500,000, you know, streetable 1,500 horsepower drag car / daily driver, he's going to build it for you. And the thing is about him too, you know, he's got the mentality and the quality of a show car finish, but can do that in the off-road industry. So his stuff is like show car quality, where you would think it never has touched dirt or will ever touch dirt, but his stuff does, and it performs well.
That Black Ranger he built is pretty sick.
His Black Ranger is absolutely amazing. Then he did a red F100. He did that one. I mean, just everything he's done. I've never honestly seen something I'm like, meh, that wasn't that great. Everything that I've seen, I'm like, I don't even know how you thought of that. He's pretty smart. And he's got the passion and the drive, so really rad guy.
That's something I've noticed, and I'll credit you a lot on, of knowing you over the years. You don't go half in.
No.
You go 100%, 110, 115. There's some other episodes that we do where we talk about business and some other things, but I've seen firsthand some of the stuff that you've put up with and some of the stuff that you deal with. And if anybody thinks owning any kind of a business is easy, you're crazy, because it's not.
No, yeah, owning a business is probably 70% of the time not the funnest thing to deal with. I mean, what have I been in business? A little over 4 years now. Still not have one single time taken a paycheck. I'll take a little bit of money and cash that I accumulate or sell something off to live off of, buy groceries, help a little lady through school, and simple little things like that. But otherwise, I still to this day don't take a paycheck. I just take what I need to live and make sure the guys get paid and put it back into the business and try and make it grow. Hopefully I get a paycheck one day.
I've seen it.
Getting there.
The one thing that you said about like the haters, I do it because of the haters. Don't tell me that I can't do something, I'm going to do it type deal. I'll be the first one to say that when you were talking about having a fab shop and some of the stuff that you wanted to build, I'm like, man, you're crazy. That is an expensive. I've worked in the off-road industry in the past. I worked for some very talented people here in Kingman, Bear Race Cars, Tracy Rubio.
John used to be a welder.
From him. I wasn't the greatest welder, but I could put two pieces of metal together.
You're a good welder.
But I've seen everything from that aspect, so I know some of the stages of like where it takes to get stuff, and everybody thinks that, he's lucky because his parents are Freiday Racing, and which your parents don't have anything to do with Freiday Racing.
No, parents.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. No, parents are, my uncle and dad took over the family construction business from my grandpa, which I don't know how long Freiday Construction has been around, but I think it's probably one of the oldest construction businesses in Kingman, Arizona. Family's been here for a long time, but no, I've worked for them, and obviously being the owner's son, I was not the one that made the most money out of everybody there. I was the low man on the totem pole, just shoveled stuff, worked in the ditch, ran equipment, and did everything like that, and kind of wanted to do my own thing, so I completely stepped away. I haven't ever collected a paycheck from them since then. Otherwise, I still help them out on stuff because they do help me in the sense of they had this old building back here that we're in now, which was just basically a storage building for their accumulated crap that they had. And I put up a couple walls, insulated the inside, and they helped me out with letting me be in this shop. But I still to this day will actually run their GPS stuff for their work and job sites, and I will cut and fabricate stuff for them when they need it. So, and I don't charge them. Family.
It's pretty good because, like you said, they've been here forever. You think of how you spell your last name, Freiday, and what it's associated with, and in this town, because it's a small town. It's not big, but dirt work, and now it is being associated with fabrication.
Yeah,
which it was before with what they were building.
Construction equipment. I mean, uncle and dad are both basically engineers. My uncle is, but my dad, uncle, since they're basically business owners, uncle had his engineering degree, so my dad decided to get the business degree because, they're in partners in the business. Virtually both of them are engineers. They can think of the wildest things to build for equipment, whether, they could go buy something for half the cost. They'd rather build it just because they like building things. So in a sense, my dad did off-road racing when he was younger, but they never really built a lot of things like in that sense. My dad raced a lot and drove things for other people like TNT Racing, James Gross. He used to go race his truck back in the day, a long time ago. And they've been around forever. I mean, I guess hot rods they were always into, drag race and stuff back when they were young and dumb too. Same with my grandpa. I think he was like a circle track kind of guy and hot rod guy, so he would blow his paychecks on doing the same things that I blow my money on now, this stuff. Not much difference. I guess apple did not fall far from the tree there.
So I'm going to hit you with a question I know you're not going to like. And I know you're probably going to hit me as soon as this camera gets turned off. So what's next for Cole and you going to get married? What are you doing, Cole?
Yeah, I'm eventually going to get married. One day. For the people that don't know, Gabrielle and I have been engaged for, I think it's going to be, oh boy, now you're putting me on the spot. I think we're coming up on the next few months is going to be 7 years. We've been engaged for 7 years. And to be fair, we were going to get married when she gets done with school. Still, she's pretty much done with school. Granted, you know, the girl's going to be, I think, 80 years old and have 66 degrees. But she's also a nurse, a dietitian. She's everything. She's talking about now becoming a nurse practitioner, which I'll never tell her no for wanting, you know, build her career better than me. So still want to get married. Unfortunately, now timing has came into before when I was collecting a paycheck and had some money and could probably have afforded it then. It's turned into now I don't have as much because trying to build the business. And then she's still doing school stuff, so timing has just not happened yet. We still want to. She did give me the option in the beginning when we got engaged. And I messed up on this one because I probably should have said the other thing. She said, you had two options. We can either have a real wedding and invite a bunch of people over, or we can elope and go someplace cool. My process of thinking at the time wasn't the best. I'm thinking, like, well, I might as well just do the wedding now and get it over with because, if we elope, probably maybe 10, 15 years from now, she's going to be like, I kind of want a real wedding, so then I'd have to do it again. Come to find out, we did our invitation list for for the people to invite when we were starting to plan it, and our dumbed down list was 480 people.
Jeez.
Yeah. That was the dumbed down list. Big family, lots of friends, lots of people. So that kind of put a dampener in it when we're like, I don't think we can afford the chairs and tables for all those people, let alone the food. Granted, we were going to cook our own food, which we've catered a few weddings. If anybody knows my dad and uncle, they are phenomenal cooks. And it's one of their favorite hobbies is cooking. And they're very good at it. But yeah, we're still planning on it. Hoping now, I think time's gone by, you never know. There might be a random weekend that comes up and you're going to suddenly see us getting married in Fiji, New Zealand, I don't know, some random place. Find a couple people sitting at the bar and be like, hey, you want to come watch us get married? And call it a day. So.
Perfect. Is there anything else you want to add to it? Like I said, we're going to go through episodes on this, so it's going to be a process that we're going to see how far it goes. Videos will get better. We're gonna do a lot of different stuff with this besides the weekly walkthrough.
There'll be a lot more updates on things. Probably get a little more in depth on other things. I guess for just as me, stuff that I've kind of done, that's probably gonna be it. Off-road, drag cars, dirt bikes, all the good stuff. So, family, yeah, I think that's solid first episode.
Right on. Well, follow, like, subscribe, share it. I think in here pretty soon you need to do like a swag giveaway.
Would some of you people like a t-shirt? Hopefully I have the right size. If you're a 3X, I'm golden. I got you. If you're an XL, you're screwed. Yeah, I know. I need to buy more t-shirts, but
we'll do that, and we'll do some other video stuff, and I think we'll do another sit down with you this next go around, and then we'll get Corey. He don't like the camera. That one's gonna be fun.
That one's gonna be a lot of fun. Corey does not like the camera. Jeff doesn't mind the camera, but the things that come out of Jeff's mouth is entertaining.
I can promise you it's gonna be really entertaining, because one thing I love to do when I show up with the camera is rage bait Jeff. I know I can do it very easily, and I put a lot of effort into it. I really do.
He does, yeah. Jeff gets very, very mad at John, and he gets very upset, and it fuels John's fire of rage baiting him more.
I think I might get myself a hat clip that has my action camera on it, to where when I'm actually filming with the gimbal and walking around the shop, some of the stuff that you don't catch that Jeff just says, or doesn't necessarily work on that camera because of how I have it set up, but
Yeah, you guys will see a lot of things. He's one of the funniest kids ever, but the random things that come out of his mouth are just, what did you just say?
I think one of my funnest things is where you guys told me that you can really freak him out easy when he's welding by just standing right next to his hood and he
Oh
pops it
yeah,
up. Ah!
he gets scared so easily. If you just walk in the door the same time he's walking out, he will scream, yell, jump. It's my favorite thing, and he gets so mad at me because I scare him and I'll just start laughing and he's like, F you, Cole, and he's like, I hate it. I also laugh at him when he hurts himself. Him and Corey, they both hurt themselves on a constant daily basis. I don't think we've ever made it past one day on a work-related injury. I'll be in my office and I hear a lot of bad words and I just kind of giggle a lot. And Jeff came in one day, he's like, I just feel like every time that we hurt ourselves and you hear us yelling, you're just in here laughing and smiling. And he's pretty spot on. I am 100% laughing and smiling because somebody else's pain is humor for me. When it's not me, it's funny.
It's super funny when it's somebody, well, depending on it, but yeah.
Yeah, as long as they're not injured too bad, you know, just a little scrape and bump here, hit their head on something. Hilarious.
Which happens a lot on these things when you build and you prep and you do what you do. It's there's lots of times of smashing your fingers.
Jungle gym.
Yeah, burning yourself, or you hit your head on the same tube and you knew better but you did it anyways. It's a lot of fun.
So I guess stay tuned for the next episode dose of Friday Racing and whatever crap we come up with to talk about. So,
all right.
See you guys.
Adios. Punch me now.